Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. So today I am really excited because I just recently received the Lime Crime Venus Vivid palette for my birthday, and I'm so excited because I have all three of the original Venus palettes. I don't have XL or the new one that came out, but I'm very excited because this is the first really like bright colored palette that they've done, and I know that that's been like a really big theme for a lot of companies the past year, and I'm just really excited because I had the opportunity to intern for them last year and I had a freaking great time doing it, but I'm excited because this is definitely something that I would consider to be different for them because of the stuff that they've previously come out with. Like, I wasn't expecting them to come out with anything like this at all, honestly. I don't know if that's just because everybody else has already come out with like so many other things, or just because, you know, I just wasn't expecting it. But I'm very excited. The only thing that I do have to say about their Venus palettes is that I do think that they are a little bit overpriced for how many shadows are in the palette, because I know that there are a lot of other palettes that you could probably get a similar price for probably more products. However, this is 8 shades for $38. That's what all of these size Venus palettes run for, and that's the only thing that I don't like about these smaller palettes, is that I feel like they're just a little bit overpriced. They are good quality though, so I will forever like stand by that statement. So there are 8 different shadows. We have Betty, Flutter, Starburst, Luxe, Limelight, Happy Place, Super Bloom, and Sassy. I'm honestly living for this Super Bloom color. It just looks really pretty. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swatch all of them, and then I will figure out what kind of eye look I'm gonna do today, because I'm still not really sure. So I'm doing Luxe right now, which is the bright yellow in the upper right corner. Very pretty. My swatches are kind of sucky, so I apologize. And then I'm gonna go into Starburst, which is that like bright pink color that's right next to Luxe. Alright, and then I'm doing Flutter. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited because purples, Flutter is the purple one, and purples are very hard to make. So I'm very excited because this, like, just swatching it in the pan, it felt really nice. A little bit of fallout I feel like from this shade, but I mean, that happens, so I'm not really upset about that. Okay, so then going into Betty, which is the bright blue shade. I really love bright colors, as you guys could probably tell. If you've been on my channel for a while and you've watched most of my videos, then you know I'm not really like a nude person. I don't really do like browns, and I don't know, I feel like it's just been so overdone that I'm like, I want something new. So, okay, now I'm gonna swatch on both of my hands. So this right now is the first row. So we have Luxe, and then we have Starburst, Flutter, and Betty. So just so you guys know, so this is what it looks like up close. But this, the blue one, is definitely 2 swatches. Like, the first part of it was the top and the second half was kind of on the bottom. So just so you guys are aware of that. But other than that, like, they're very nice shadows. Like, I don't have any complaints. The purple one did have a little bit of fallout just swatching it on my hand, so that's something to be aware of. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's still a beautiful shadow, so I'm not mad about that at all. I'm gonna swatch the lower row, or the bottom row, on my right hand, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm swatching Limelight. This is an interesting shadow because lime greens I feel like are kind of hard to make too, just because I don't know exactly what the pigmentation process is with that stuff. So the Limelight shade I would say is definitely more of a buildable shade, which is totally fine, but just like, you know, don't put a little bit on and then expect to have like, boom, like it's there, because it's just not one of those shadows, which is fine, but just so that you guys are aware of what you'd be getting. Okay, so then going to Happy Place, which is the sparkly yellow shade on the bottom row. Oh, okay, this is like a cute little like glitter like iridescent-y kind of thing. It definitely has some like yellow-green reflex in it. So there's that. This would be really pretty as like a topper, I feel like, to a regular yellow shade, because it's not like insanely pigmented, but it has really pretty, like the shade is gorgeous, which I'll show you guys in a minute. So now I'm going into Super Bloom, which I am so excited about this color. Oh my gosh, it's just the prettiest like poppy orange, which is obviously why they named it Super Bloom. But it just looks really pretty. Ooh, it looks so pretty on the finger. Ooh, love that, honestly. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty! Oh, yay, I'm so excited. Okay. So, that is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, freaking love that. Okay, now I'm going into the last shade, which is the bright pink shade in the bottom row, and this one's called Sassy. Ooh, that's vivid. Hello. That's really nice. Love that. Definitely one of those mattes that has to be swatched a couple times, and it's probably going to be a more buildable shade than like right away, but it's still really pretty. So, on my right hand, we have Limelight, which is the top. Sorry, let me move my face. So we have Limelight, and then we have Happy Place, which is this really pretty yellow, like iridescent shimmer. I don't know if you guys can see like the green and like yellow reflex in there, but it's really, really pretty. And then we have Super Bloom, which is hella pigmented. I'm so excited about that one. That one is gorgeous. I think that is like one of the two foil shadows, and I think Luxe was the other one. So there's that. But this one swatched just like really, really pretty. And then we have Sassy on the bottom, which is a really nice bright neon pink. And this is definitely going to be a more buildable shade, because I know mattes are definitely harder to make than shimmers and foils and metallics and stuff. But they still all look really pretty. Like, those colors are so gorgeous. So now that we've swatched all of those, I am going to wipe all of this off, and then we will get into me actually using the palette and figuring out what the heck I'm gonna do. Okay, so just really quick before I actually jump into using the palette, I just wanted to talk about the packaging really quickly. So as all of their standard Venus palettes are, it is I think a magnetic, kind of, some type of magnetic, I think. I can't tell you, but I think it's magnetic. And all of their palettes have a mirror, which is really nice. But I really like this particular packaging because it's different than all of the regular like Venus palettes, because everything's very like goddessy themed, which is great. But I like that they took the chance to use like the vivid, like bright theme of the palette to create different packaging. And I love that it's neon, because you can still get that it's the whole vibe of like the goddess thing, but it's different than all the other like bright neon palettes that have been coming out, because it's not like holographic packaging, it's not rainbow packaging, it's different. And I like that they were able to figure that out, and I just think that's really creative. So kudos to Lime Crime for their really cute packaging idea. So yeah, so there's that. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use probably my P. Louise base, just because I feel like I haven't really used that in a while. So I'm gonna go back to using my P. Louise base. Okay, so I'm using the P. Louise base in Rumor 2, which is like the original one that they came out with. I actually really should stock up again on this base because this is really nice. So I'm going to be using this with my Morphe M224 brush, and I'm just going to, oh gosh, if I could even get it out. Come on, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of that on. So I'm going to pat this onto my lid, and obviously the rest of my eye. Does anybody else get really frustrated when they go to put on their eye primer and the eye primer gets in their eyelashes? Like, wow, your life is so hard, you know what I mean? But like, it's annoying. Like, I spent so much time like trying not to do that, and so when it does, it's like, no! So now that I have primed my eye, I hate that when I prime my eye, it like looks like my whole lid is like just dragging my face down, and then you can see how like dark my under eye circles are. Oh my god, it's so bad. So I like to put a little bit of the base underneath my eye so that I don't look like a total lunatic and like I don't ever get sleep. So I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit. And now that that is done, I'm going to go into this palette and figure out what the heck I'm gonna do, because I don't know. I don't know why, but lately I've really been into like the whole like orange and yellow vibes, and I really want to do something with the Super Bloom. So I kind of want to do like Sassy and Starburst as like a cut crease kind of thingy, with Super Bloom as the center shadow, if that makes sense. So it'd be a really pretty combination. So I think that's what I'm going to do today. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to take Sassy, which is that bright pink shade on the bottom, and I'm going to pack that into my crease. And then I'm using an M321 brush for this, so it's like a bullet crease brush. So just gonna start packing this on. Like I said, this shade is definitely something that is going to be buildable. It's not going to be like coming out of the gate swinging, which is fine because I know not everybody likes that when it's like you put a little bit on and you're like, oh my god, how do I fix this? So I think it's good that this is a buildable shade. And I'm of course going to be putting this shade in the inner and outer corners as well, because I think I want to do this as like a halo eye, because I've been doing a lot of cut creases lately and I feel like I need to do another halo eye and like figure that out. So that's what I think we're gonna do today. Okay, so now that I have this shade pretty well packed on my crease, I know a lot of this is gonna get like a lot of the center part is gonna get covered by concealer, but I need to have enough on there to make sure that it's gonna look, you know, like the color was there when I cut the crease. I was trying to think of those words. So I'm just making sure that I have enough pink on here so that I'm satisfied with that before I move on to the Starburst shade. I'm going to go in with a Morphe M506 brush. I use these brushes in literally every single one of my looks. Like every look that I make, even when I don't like put it on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, I'm always using these brushes to pack and blend, and it's honestly so nice. So I'm gonna go in with that Starburst shade right here, and we're gonna put that right above where we put the Sassy shade. So I'm using this very lightly because I don't want to put on too much and then really regret it. So I'm going to basically, what I've been doing is I've just been putting this lightly above that really bright shade and blending it out, because I want it to be a nice blend between the bright color and then the one above it. So I'm just lightly blending this out a little bit at a time, because I want to make sure that both colors you can see when we cut the crease. Okay, so now that I have all of this on my eye, it looks like a hot mess, but I promise it's gonna look normal in a little bit. So for right now, I'm just gonna blend out a little bit at the top edge. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my concealer, or what am I gonna use for this? I'm gonna use my Anastasia Beverly Hills base to cut my crease, because I've been using that a lot lately and I just feel like it works really well. So I'm gonna go in with, my MAC 242 shader brush. I think that's what I don't know what the S stands for, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with this brush and the ABH eye primer, and I'm going to use this to cut this halo eye. Okay, so now that that part is done, I'm going to let that sit for a second so that it can not be super wet when I put the shadow on. Okay, so for right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with that Sassy color again, and I'm going to put that on the outer and inner corner of where the concealer is, so just enough so that it looks like a nice little ombre effect. And I'm using the Morphe M321 for this part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Sephora smudger brush and I'm going to go into Starburst and just blend that into the inner corner and outer corner as well. Okay, so now that I have smudged those colors into this look as well, I am going to, so because this is like sort of detail work, I want to go in with a more precise brush. So I'm using a Tarte double-ended brush, and it has a liner side on one side and then just a very thin flat edge on the other side. So that's what I'm going to be used to, that's what I'm going to use for the Super Bloom shade, which is going to go right in the center. So let's see how this goes. I'm really excited because I really like this color, so I hope this looks good. I'm being very careful when I'm going into the uppermost part of this because I want the pigment to go there, but I don't want it to transfer anywhere else. So this is a very pretty color combination, but now I'm just going to go back and basically do that ombre side again and make sure that I have all the colors in there that I want and that it's nice and blended. So I'm just taking that smudger brush and just kind of flicking it inwards a little bit. Okay, so now that we have done that part of the eye, I really want to do, I think I want to do a wing liner because I haven't done that in a really long time. So that's what I'm gonna do, and hopefully I don't mess this up. So for my eyeliner, I'm going to be using a gel liner today, and I'm going to use the Sigma Small Angle E65 brush. So that's the brush that I'm using for the liner, and then I'm going to be using the Maybelline Blackest Black Gel Liner. This stuff lasts you such a long time, and it's so nice. And it's hella pigmented, so that's what we're going to use today. Okay, so I think the liner is good. I'm going to clean this up with some concealer just because the brush is kind of big, so I wanted to make it not a super thick eyeliner, and I think I did pretty well with that. So I'm just cleaning this up a little bit, and then I'm going to do the other eye off camera, and then we'll talk about my final thoughts at the end. And obviously I'll do the rest of my face off camera as well because I want this video to be like solely focused on what I think of the palette. So I think I'm going to use the lashes in I Spy by the Makeup Shack. And these are really pretty, and I think they're going to look really good with the liner too. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to use the House of Lashes dark eyelash glue because this is the one that works best for me, especially when I want it to match with the eyeliner, you know what I mean? Okay, so my eyelash is on, and I'm going to do my other eye off camera, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys what I'm going to do to my under eye, and then I will pick a lip and everything to match this, and then I will tell you my final thoughts on the palette. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay you guys, so I am back, and I am just putting on some shadow on my lower lash line. So I'm going in with the Starburst shade, and I'm just smudging that on my lower lash line. And then right over top of that, Sassy is the really bright pink that's gonna go right on top of that. I'm just gonna kind of blend them into each other. Okay, so now that I have that part done, I'm actually going to take kind of like what we did on the top, and I'm going to take the Super Bloom shade and I'm going to put that right in the center so that we kind of have the same halo effect going on the lower lash line. So I'm just taking that same brush and putting that on the center of my lower lash line. Okay, so now that that part is done, I'm going to pop on some mascara on my lower lash line, obviously, and I'm going to use the Big Ego mascara from Tarte. I love this mascara. I feel like Tarte mascaras are really good just because I've never really had one that I didn't like. And like, I don't know, they're like my go-to for mascara. So if you're looking for a mascara that gives you some really good volume, definitely would recommend this because this is absolutely gorgeous. No. I hate it when I do that. Ugh. Alright, I'll fix that later. Okay, so now I'm going to pop on a lippy and I will tell you guys my final thoughts on this palette. Okay, you guys, so now that all my face is on, I'm just going to go straight into my entire opinion of this palette. So first of all, packaging, I talked about it earlier. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's very creative and unique. The colors of this palette are gorgeous. I think that it's a very cute color story, especially for like a bright palette when there's already like so many other companies that are making really bright palettes, and I think that this is a very cute color story. I think it is overpriced for 8 shades. That is my personal opinion. Just because I feel like for 8 shades it could definitely be less and still be more like the higher end side, you know what I mean? So I feel like this could be more like $30, like in that realm. Like I feel like that would be more reasonable for this. That's just my personal opinion. If you have the money to spend on it and you want a really bright color palette, like this for sure is like, I really like it. I think it's really pretty. I think that in terms of comparing it to like the Morphe and James Charles palette, because that one is also very like rainbow kind of color story, it has very similar shades in it. I feel like, I mean, that's my go-to, so I reach for that all the time. Do I see myself reaching for this? Absolutely, in terms of like certain shades or, you know, whatever. If I had to pick between this and the James Charles palette, I would definitely pick the James Charles palette, but that one's also, I believe it's cheaper. I don't quite know, so don't quote me on that one. But I do think it's a gorgeous palette. I think the colors are beautiful. I think that they do take some time to be exactly as pigmented and blended as you want, but that's makeup, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you expect to have something be perfect right off the bat. Sometimes you have to work with it a little bit, which is totally fine. Like, there's no issues with that. I do think it's really cute, and I think that they have a good combination of mattes and shimmers and foils, and it's a good palette. Like, I like it. I really do. I definitely see myself, out of all of the Venus palettes, this is definitely my favorite thus far, only because I use bright colors all the time. I really like the Venus 3, the pink one, but this is very cute. I like that it has a mirror. I like that it's magnetic. But yeah, if you want to buy this palette and you're looking for something that has bright colors and you don't want something that's going to take up a whole bunch of space, this is definitely a really good idea. It's easy to travel with because it's small, which is nice. And I think the formula is harder to blend out compared to the James Charles palette, but I also know that like James spent so long creating that palette, so I know it's a completely different, you know, it's a whole different palette. I'm sure they use 2 completely different labs, so you can't really kind of compare in that sense. So but this is still very beautiful. It does blend out. It takes me personally a little bit longer to blend out my shades than I would like to, but I think for me it doesn't really, I take that back. It doesn't take me that long to blend them out. It takes me a longer time to pack it on to where I have the amount of shadow on my lid that I prefer for the color intensity that I like. So it's like the color intensity is there, but a lot of times like you'll pick it up on a brush and it's like you have enough to like get around your eye. And in this case I definitely had to dip in a few times, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's just how some palettes are. But just so you guys are aware of like how it will maybe work, just so you guys are aware of how it will maybe work for you, that's just how I experienced, you know, picking up the colors, blending them out, going back and forth and stuff like that. But overall, it is a very cute palette. I'm super excited that they came out with this because so many other companies are coming out with stuff like this, and I think that they are smart to come out with something to stay competitive and to, you know, make sure that they're still getting out there, which obviously they are because they're Lime Crime and they're like, you know, they're constantly coming out with stuff. So yeah, I think that the shades are brilliant. I think that the Super Bloom is probably the most pigmented out of all of them, and I know that that's just because like foils and metallics are a lot easier to make than mattes, formula wise especially. So that's my personal opinion on that. But yeah, so I like this palette. I think that if you're looking for something small that has all color in it and you are looking for just this is going to be your go-to, then absolutely, like, I think that you should totally get this. If I was going to say, should you get this or the Morphe Brushes palette, I would say the Morphe palette, but also I'm the type of person where I like to have all these different color options in front of me, and if you're somebody that just wants these colors specifically, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, so there you go. I think that it's a cute little palette, and I love the colors, but yeah, so that's my opinion. If you guys were curious to know how the formulas and everything, I hope that this video helped you out a little bit in deciding if this is something that you want to purchase. If you're a long-time Lime Crime customer, then obviously I think it's exactly to me like all the other Lime Crime like Venus palette formulas, so I have no complaints there. So yeah, that is my story, and I think that's all I have for you guys today. So I would recommend it, and yeah. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that those of you out there who had questions or whatever about this new palette are, you know, you have your answers. And yeah, I think it's super cute. I'm obsessed with the packaging. I think that's the cutest freaking thing ever. But yeah, if you're a Lime Crime customer, this is something you would definitely like. And if you aren't a Lime Crime customer yet, I think that in terms of rainbow colors, the Morphe Brushes palette is probably going to be easier for you, just because there's so many colors in there. But if you're somebody who wants to try Lime Crime and you don't have a bright color palette, this is definitely something that you can purchase, and I think you'll definitely be satisfied with it. So that is my story. I think I've rambled for probably like 10 minutes there. But yeah, so that's my thoughts, and I think that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you again so much for clicking on this video. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like Lime Crime, make sure to give it a thumbs up too. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel and that you hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I post new videos. So once again, thank you guys for clicking on this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!